Hello again. I'm Lyle Douglas, and I'm back here with another great teaching session from Chris Record. Chris is going to show us how to take your talking avatars and work with them in Adobe Premiere. This lesson gets pretty in-depth, so if you're interested in Adobe Premiere, you're going to love this. There's a lot of ground to cover in this one, so let's get started.
Okay, so now that you had an overview of Canva, it's time to go a little bit more intermediate level to advanced. Let's talk about how to edit your talking avatars in Adobe Premiere. Now, this is the tool that I use, and since I use it, I feel that it only makes sense that I also teach it. So what I'll do is I will create huge slideshow presentations inside of Canva, and then I will take those presentations and record a voice over them or record a script for them, and I will bring them over into Adobe Premiere. That is where I will actually add the talking avatar. So I will go ahead and create a little circle inside of Adobe Premiere. I will add the avatar inside of it, and I will go ahead and line it up and do little jump cuts to make sure that the avatar is only on certain parts and then it's removed from other parts. This works incredibly well because you only have 5 minutes per talking avatar. So what I might do is every 5 minutes, I might break to a different background clip or something else as you're seeing in this entire presentation. And so this allows me to get little segments of talking avatars all throughout it, but maybe I'm only using, 30 minutes of talking avatars inside of a 90-minute presentation. So it's very, very powerful. I love Adobe Premiere. It's actually simpler to use than people think. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a live demonstration right now to show you how I use Adobe Premiere to be able to edit my talking avatars. Okay, so here I am inside of Adobe Premiere. Normally you'll go to a new project, but I already have one right here. We're gonna go ahead and use this very boot camp that I'm teaching and training on right now to be able to show you. So let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, so just like that, it's open. That happened in real time. It's pretty fast. And so here's an example. I'm actually recording this while we go. Let's just go ahead and press play. What's up, everyone? My name is Chris Record, and I want to welcome you to bootcamp number 1. Okay, so this is the file right here that I've made, right? So this is the file. This is the project for this bootcamp. Okay, so this is a little section right here. I put a little thing on the top that lets me know I still need to insert this section. I'm going to do that at the end. And then there's another one down here that I can see, and this is the section that I'm working on right now. I'm doing this live demonstration, recording my screen. That will go, the part that I'm recording will go right here, where that little placeholder is. I dragged it up, I know, it'll go right there. So I'm not gonna necessarily teach how to use Adobe, but there's 2 spots left in the video, and then that's a music video at the end, like at least an audio. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the very beginning, and I'm going to mark an end point, okay, right there in the very beginning. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically, you can just press up and down to kind of click through the things. And I'm going to say, okay, how long is this talking head going to be in this circle, right? So let's just look. It's right there, it ends, right? So I'm looking for the exact spot where it ends. So I can zoom in right now, and I could use like the right arrow, whatever, or I could just use this. Okay, so it's right there. I could use the right arrow, whatever. And so this right here is where I want to switch from that big circle talking head to this little circle. So I'm going to go ahead and make a cut. To make a cut, you just click the little razor and you make a cut. And then I'm going to mark an out point. That's going to be my out point. So let's zoom out and look what we have here. We've got an in point and an out point, right? That tells me that's the part where I need this big circle to be talking. Also, when you mark an in and out point, it'll tell you how long it is. That's 20 seconds of talking. Because it's 20 seconds of talking, that's going to give me an idea of how much of my talking avatar I'm going to use up. So very basically what I want to do is I want to turn this audio into a talking avatar. So how am I going to do that? When you mark the in and out point, let me zoom in and make sure it's right there. Let me actually even make it, let me just listen and make it even really tight. This. So I'm going to even mark it right here just because I want that whole word, this right there. I want that whole word. Okay. So like this. And that's where it's going to change. So this part right here, that mark of the in and out, I'm going to go to File, and then I'm going to go to Export, Media. Okay, and we're going to call this, let's just name this whatever. Let's call it Talking 1. Okay, and the next one will be Talking 2 and everything. And let's go ahead and save this to the desktop really quick. Okay, so Talking 1 is the name of this clip, and we're saving it to the desktop, but watch what I'm going to do here. The format, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to change the format to MP3. I just want the audio. I want the audio of the talking. So now we're going to send to the media encoder. And the media encoder is going to open up another app right here, Adobe Media Encoder. It's going to open this one up. And I've already done this one here. That one failed before. Okay, so this is what it is right here, right? Talking one clip. And then all I have to do is this right there. And because it's MP3, look at how fast it just saved. So now this clip right here is on my desktop. Just like that, that clip is on my desktop. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the desktop. And there it is, right? So just to show you, let's open this with QuickTime and let's play it. What's up, everyone? My name is Chris Record, and I want to welcome you to... Okay, so I got the audio of that voice, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to launch Chrome, and I'm going to pull up Studio DID. Okay, so here I am in Studio DID. I'm going to create a new video. I'm just going to use my existing avatar just like this. I'm going to call this, we're going to call this, let's say, Bootcamp 1. So I know it's voice 1 in the bootcamp. We're going to go over here to upload voice audio, upload your own, talking 1, right? So I've got the talking 1 is the voice and bootcamp 1 is going to be the video. We're just going to go over here to generate video, generate, and there we go. So now it's generating in the background. And as soon as this is done generating, I'm going to show you how we can actually add this inside of Adobe Premiere. We just took the audio from the clip that I already spoke, and now we're turning it into a talking avatar. And again, I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this because I want to show you all exactly how this works. And there it is. It's successful. I'm just going to go ahead and click download. It's rendering there, download, and we're going to go ahead and just save it to the desktop. Okay. So now we're going to go back to Adobe Premiere. And over here is the little bin of things I have. I'm going to create a new bin, this little thing right there. I'm just going to create a new folder, and it's going to be talking avatars. Just because there's going to be a lot of them, their talking avatars bin is ready to go. So now I'm going to go over here to the desktop, grab the Bootcamp 1, and drag it right there. Just dragged it over. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it into the project above. I'm going to put it into the project, and I'm going to put it just above and below. So let's zoom in, and let's see what this looks like. These are the two audio files. The video files don't really make a difference up there, but these are the two audio files. I want to see that they're pretty much lined up. And let's see what it sounds like if I play it.
What's up, everyone? My name is Chris Record, and I want to welcome you to Boot.
So it's playing pretty close, right? If I wanted to, I could get it even closer. So for example, this one on the top is the original, there's the original file, and this one on the bottom is the other one. So let's cut a little bit out of this one. Okay, let's cut that out, and let's just drag it over a little bit more, and that will be a little bit closer.
What's up, everyone? My name is Chris Record.
You can barely hear those two different voices, right? So now what we want to do is we want to get this into a circle, right? So what we're going to do for that, let me move this a little bit down, just to be able to see it a little bit easier. Okay, so what we're going to do for that, we want this clip right here to be a little circle overlaying on top of this video. We want the video still, we're not going to delete the video below it. We want this video here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to go back over here to effects, and we're going to click circle. And there's this little circle thing like this, and we're just going to drag it on top of our video. Now, you can't tell, but it made it into a circle. So there's some effects that we still got to mess with over here. The first one is we're going to go to blending mode, stencil alpha. And that basically puts the image inside of it. But really all you can see is my nose, right? So stencil alpha is the first thing we did with blending. Now, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the radius, and you can drag it to the left and to the right, and you can see you can make it bigger or smaller, right? We want to make it big, but see how when you go too big, it turns back into a square. When you go too small, it's cropping me off. We want to find out right where the edge starts turning into a square. We want to kind of end it like right there. We want to make it so it's a nice round circle the whole entire time. Okay, so now we've got it as a circle. We've only done two things. Now we're going to go up to the top to this position and this scale. Okay, scale is going to make it look like this, right? So we basically want to get it just at least slightly bigger than the one that's there. And then this is going to move it left and right. So we want to move it over to the left. Okay, and then this is going to move it up and down. So we kind of want to move it down. And just to be sure, let's make it a little bit bigger. So let's just make it just a little bit bigger and just try to, now that it's bigger, it's going to cover up the placeholder. There we go. So now let's look at this.
What's up, everyone? My name is Chris Record, and I want to welcome you to Bootcamp number 1.
Okay, so now that that's done, the only thing we have left is that there's two audios, and we don't really need these two audios. So this one on the bottom right here, they're really the same audio, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna click on this one on the bottom that we added. I'm gonna right click on it, and there's gonna be all these different things I could do, right? I'm gonna click unlink. What that's gonna do is it's gonna unlink the audio from the video. If I would have just deleted this, it would have also deleted this circle we made. So now I unlinked those, so I could just simply delete it. So what we're left with, in very simple terms here, is we got the original video with this little circle above it. So just to give you like an example, this was the original video right here, and now it's got a little circle on top of it. See that? Now it's got a little circle. So now let's play and let's listen.
What's up, everyone? My name is Chris Record, and I want to welcome you to boot camp number 1.
Okay, now you'll notice that it's red in the background here. Now, of course, that's because it needs to be rendered. This red means that, hey, there's a lot going on. It needs to be rendered. But because I'm recording right now, I'm not going to render it. But if I wanted to render it, all I would do is go up here, sequence, render in to out. It'll render from the in point to the out point. And depending on how fast your computer is, that could take literally a minute, or it could take, 5 minutes. Just depends on how fast your computer is. So now the very next thing I want to do, now I got the clip in, is let's try to cut it off at the right point. So let's try to figure out where I can cut it off.
Exactly like this.
Okay, see how it lasted a little bit too long. See, I don't want that there, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find the right spot to cut it off, right? I want it there, but I don't want it there, right? So I'm going to kind of come over here, and there we go. See, I just basically closed it off. So what we just did was we just added a talking avatar. That. Pretty simple. It really happened really quick. Okay, now let's get this little talking avatar here. To do that, let's mark an endpoint here. Let's start where this little guy is. So I marked I is the shortcut for endpoint, but you could always marker endpoint. Now it's a start. Now we got to find an endpoint that is also less than 5 minutes, right? So let's just go ahead and how long is that guy going to stay on there? He's going to stay on all the way until there, right? So that is going to be the out point right there. That is where it's going to go, right there. Now, how long was that? 2 minutes and 18 seconds. That's perfect, as long as it's less than 5 minutes, right? So, because that's as long as Studio DID will do. So right here, there's a 2 minute and 18 second talking head part with this little head. So let's do this one, and then I'm not going to do the whole video. I'm just going to kind of give you the point, right? So what can I do? If you remember, the steps are pretty easy. I've got the endpoint and out point marked. I'm going to go to File, Export, Media, and now I'm going to call this one, let's call this one Talking 2. Because the other one's Talking 1, save it to the desktop. It's already remembered I'm on MP3. Let's send to Media Encoder. And now let's go over to the Media Encoder. And we can delete that one. We don't need it anymore. This one's ready. So let's just go like this. And it's done. That's how fast it took, because it's just an MP3. Now that we have that MP3 file, what are we going to do? We are going to go back here. We're going to create another video. And we're watching our credits, by the way. We're going to create another video just like this. We're going to call this one Bootcamp 2. We have Talking 2 is the audio. Bootcamp 2 is the thing. Let's go here, Talking 2. And we're going to add it. We're going to let it load here in the background. This clip is a little bit longer. This is a little over 2 minutes. So everything's going to take a little bit longer to load for this one. So what I'm going to probably do is pause. But look, it's going to use 10 credits. Okay, good example. This one is going to use too many credits. Okay, so watch what's going to happen. Instead of upgrading now, I want to give you this example. Good timing. Now, first of all, I wouldn't normally do this. I would normally want to use the credits. So just to give you an example of how I'd use up those credits, what I'm going to do here is put in a whole bunch of these breaks. I'm just going to put in a whole bunch of these just like that. And instead, we're going to generate the silence. We're going to call this Silent Chris. And that's how we're going to use up the rest of these credits. Generate video. It's going to use up 3. Let's go a little bit more. Generate video. It's going to use 5. Let's go a little bit more. It's nice to have a silent version of yourself. Okay, let's just see. It's loading. But essentially, we don't have to use all 9. That's fine. Generate 7 out of 9. So this is what I would do before I went and signed up a new account. Now I've got Silent Chris. So before I sign an account, I'm going to let this load in the background. And when it does, I'm going to unpause it. I'm going to download this one. So now I've got Silent Chris, which I can use for reactions and stuff like that since I already have it here. And I could also have done Silent Grandpa, Silent anything else, use up the rest of my credits. And then I'm going to download it. Then I'm going to get rid of this account. And I'm going to go ahead and sign out and sign into a new account. So I'll come back when this is done loading. Okay, so it's saved. So we're going to go ahead and download that as just basically Silent Chris. And that's how we're going to end this account, right? Silent Chris. Okay, so now this account is dead, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to log out. Now we are going to log in. And we're going to go to sign up. And we're going to go do this again. Let's do Chris R, Crash Game Champion, plus Academy2 at gmail.com. And then you can put in any kind of password that you want and then click that box. Okay, so now I'm in my new account and you can see I've got 20 credits left. So we're going to go to create a video and we're going to go ahead and add my picture in there. Okay, now I've got my picture in there and we're going to go to upload voice audio and we're going to go to talking to, load that in, and this is going to be Bootcamp 2. And just like that, we're picking up right where we left off. You see what I'm saying? I got a new trial, I'm picking up right where I left off, and that's how I'm going to be able to go in and actually narrate this and be able to use some free trials to be able to do it. I'm very, very limited in the free trial. There's not a lot that I can do, but there's enough that I can do to be able to do that. So see, it's going to eat up 10 credits just for this little piece. So that's why I needed the next free trial. So I'm going to go ahead and pause again and come back when this is done loading. Okay, so it is successful. So we're going to go ahead and click download, and this should be Bootcamp 2. And then we're going to add it inside of the Adobe Premiere project. So here we go. Let's save it, Bootcamp 2. Now we're going to go back to Premiere. We are going to go back to our bin of talking avatars, and we're going to go ahead and add Bootcamp 2. Okay, so now, same process, right? We're going to drag Bootcamp 2 right inside of there because that's going to be the same length, right? So we're going to try to drag it right in there. It should fit nice and neat right inside of there. And same thing, our very first step is going to be to try to match up this audio. So I like to go to the beginning of the clip right here. And I like to look at the original audio, which is here, and this audio below it, right? So I can already tell it's going to be kind of the same as last time. If I just kind of clip out that beginning part, and then I just sort of move it over a little bit, move it over a little bit more, and let's play and let's listen.
Let's get started by
So maybe I moved it over a little bit too much. So let's move it back a little bit.
covering the boot camp.
That's close enough. It doesn't have to be exact either. So don't get too carried away on it, right? It doesn't have to be exact. Now that I got it lined up, I could actually go and I can just unlink and then just make sure I'm highlighting audio, delete. Now, this image right here, there's a few things that I could do, okay? One, I could just go from scratch again, which I'm going to do right now because I want you to learn how, but I'm just going to really quickly show you what I could do. I could go back to this one. I could actually it's pretty simple. I could right click and I could copy, and then over here, go to this new one. And right here, I could simply right click, paste attributes. And I could actually paste those attributes and it would automatically turn it right into a circle, right in the perfect spot. Then all I have to do is just move it over here. But I'm going to do it a little bit the harder way. I'm just going to show you how to do it again, just so you know. So I'm going to go over to Effects, Circle, and drag the circle on. Now I've got that circle right there. Then I'm going to go down to the bottom here to Blending Mode. I'm going to go to Stencil Alpha. That's going to put the image inside of there. Then I'm going to go to Radius, and I'm going to kind of make it, try to get to a circle without the square edges. Just right about there is fine. And then I'm going to go to the scale and the position, right? So in this case, we want the scale to be small so it can cover over this on the right. We want the position to be down, and we want this position to be over there. We're going to start kind of working with it. I like making it like even smaller just so I can kind of get an idea, try to get in the center of it a little bit. Okay, and now let's just try to get a little bit bigger and try to figure out where the right size is, something like that. Okay, so just like that, I've got it right there. So now let's play a little bit before and let's see how the blend looks.
I'm going to show you today the exact steps that it's going to take for you to be able to create one exactly like this. Let's get started by covering the bootcamp overview.
So there you go, right? Pretty easy. And if you wanted to see that even more clear, you could always just like open it up like that if you wanted to and be able to see a little bit more. Or you can close that one and open it this way if you wanted to, okay? You can really find ways to be able to see that a little bit more. So pretty smooth transition.
It's going to take for you to be able to create one exactly like this. Let's get started by covering the boot camp.
Okay, so now that I have this template in place, right? First thing, always save, right? Now that I have that template in place, after this little inserted section here, which I'm gonna work on, notice it comes back. So now when I do this next section, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click, copy, and I'm gonna go over here and paste attributes, and it's gonna put it right there. I no longer have to do those 3 or 4 extra steps right there. And of course, there's a lot more that I could do. I'm just doing the most basic attributes of putting it into a circle. This is Adobe Premiere. You could do a ton of stuff if I really wanted to, but I'm not gonna get into it. So that was a little tutorial there. Now my next part is gonna be a little bit harder, right? Because I'm gonna mark this endpoint, and I'm gonna go through, and this looks like it's gonna be a long one, okay? Not really, because look, it goes right there. So that's gonna be about, let's see, that's gonna be about 1.5 minutes right there. And then there's gonna be another one that's gonna come in after this. Okay, so it kind of comes back in after 1.5 minutes. There, looks like it comes back in. Right, where does it come back in? Right about
on how good your pictures are and depending on how the AI is feeling that day. So,
yeah. So somewhere like right there, I'm gonna be a little bit rough. That's gonna be the endpoint. And then I'm kind of just watching to see if I still got that guy on the screen. As long as I still have him on the screen, I'm just kind of scrolling through until he's not. And so right about, I'm just going to be random. So there's 5 minutes. Okay, perfect example. I'm going to try to cut that to just under 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes and 48 seconds. So for this long chunk here, that's 5 minutes and 48 seconds. I've got 2 options. I could either break that into 2 trials, or I could actually just do like I could actually cut out 48 seconds worth of my talking. So what I'd probably do in this case is I'd probably go through and say, hey, maybe I got an extra minute of filler in here that I don't need, that I could cut out, or I'll just use 2 trials for it, you know? So this is what I would do. I would just go through and do this. Now, when I'm explaining it to you, I'm taking a lot more time, but for this whole entire video, which the whole entire video right now, without even this part right now that I'm doing is gonna be even a lot longer. But the whole entire video is 56 minutes long. Okay, so it's probably going to be, I'm going to say at least an hour long worth of, and out of that hour, there's going to be a lot of sections in here where that avatar is. Not the whole time. Like, look, there's no avatar this whole entire time. But it's probably 30 minutes the avatar. So I'm probably going to need to have like 6 trials to be able to get through. So the whole entire process of adding the talking avatar, if I wasn't teaching you, would probably take me, I'm going to say 30 minutes. If I was just sitting here with my headphones on, whatever, 30 minutes is how much time I would spend to be able to have a talking avatar in the video with me. So that kind of gives you an idea of the expectation of what it takes to be able to create this. And I think in the future, the talking avatar is going to get even better. So this was a tutorial on how to be able to use Adobe Premiere to be able to add talking avatars. As you can see,
what's up, everyone?
It works really well. It's really eye-catching. And of course, if you just make shorter videos than me, my videos tend to be long. If you just make shorter videos, it's a lot easier.
Well, that wraps up the final lesson of this mini course. Again, Chris Record delivers. This wraps up this mini course, but if you've enjoyed the things you're learning, I can get you access to so much more content from Chris for absolutely free. By free, I mean no credit card, just a name and email address, and you'll get free access to a ton of high-level tutorials that cover different aspects of marketing and how to use other AI tools and social media platforms. The only catch is that you can only gain access by invitation, and I only have so many invitations that I can send. For this reason, I am only extending invitations to those who request access. The mini course PDF that you have has the simple instructions on how to contact me and request access, and I will send your invitation upon request. It's that simple. And just a reminder, no credit card, just a name and email address. Once again, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Ciao for now.